Hello, Calvary Bible, and welcome to week 12 of our Bible reading. This week we'll finish up Numbers and start in the book of Deuteronomy. We'll take a look at John's chapter 8 through 10. And so, as always, remember to look for Jesus in the text as you move through. Numbers 27 opens with this disbursement of blessings. If there's no sons, and the father passes away, how are the daughters, how are they covered? And so we see this happen, and the ladies, the daughters, come and talk to Moses, and Moses rightly takes it to God, and God gives the answer and the covering. And so we see this laid out in such a way that it's the beginning of this kinsman redeemer concept. And so as you read through that, think about the kinsman redeemer and how that relates. Chapter 28, 29 lay out sacrifices of the various celebrations, and they were required to celebrate Passover and other celebrations. And so there was required sacrifices that were to be given for those things. Chapter 30 is kind of interesting in that it talks about the oath that we make, and we see kind of Moses lay out at God's direction this idea of husbands, if you overhear your wife make an oath and you don't agree with it, then it becomes null and void. But if you got to voice that. But if you don't say anything, then the oath stands. Same with fathers and daughters, and some people look at this as like a negative, like there's this controlling of the men and the ladies' wives, and that's not how God intended. God really intended it as a covering to protect them. And the way I relate it to people that have had this conversation with me is if my wife wants to make an oath to the Lord because she is loving, she would probably discuss it, unless it's like salvation or something like that. That's totally different. And obviously if I ever overheard that, I wouldn't stop that. But it's Old Testament, and it's this covering, and so kind of look at it that way, that it's a covering, not a domineering thing. The ladies are not less significant. They are just as important to God. As you finish up in the book of Numbers, we see the story of their time in the wilderness is being laid out. We see that Joshua is brought up as a future leader, and we also see the beginning of taking planning for the lands and the cities and the way they're going to look out, including those cities of refuge. Where if somebody commits murder or somebody accidentally kills somebody, they have a place to go, and they're protected there. And so God gave this provision for the people to protect them. Deuteronomy brings us into this preparation and staging for the occupation of the Promised Land. There's a lot of battles that are going to be fought as they get through this, and we also see the leadership roles are being established, and it's interesting. They start to occupy some of the land that's outside of the Promised Land, but God is going to give to a few of the tribes, and so this starts to play out. Hey, when we get into John chapter 8, I want you to just take a good look at the text, as the 8, 9, and 10. As we read through them, we're going to see Jesus really preparing the disciples and kind of laying out what's it look like, what's his role, and he's starting down this path towards the cross. And so John 8 takes a good look at the authority of Jesus and what that looks like. He also takes some time to discuss heaven and how he came from there and how we will go back and share it with him for eternity. And so as you read through that, Jesus is just laying out some good things. John chapter 9 tells a main story of this healing of this man from blindness. And there's a debate. Lots of questions asked. They ask the parents, they ask the man that's healed, and it's part to really understand the authority of God. He can heal. There's conversations in there about, was the man that was healed a sinner or not a sinner, and the big issue for the Pharisees and Sadducees is this idea of healing on the Sabbath. And so as you read through that, look at that, they're trying to really trap Jesus, and they want to persecute him. John chapter 10 is the study of the Good Shepherd. If you're a overseer like if you're a parent or a school teacher or Sunday school teacher, or you have authority over a group of people, this is really a good text to read, because it lays out this idea of what the Good Shepherd looks like, and how he only gathers to him his own. What that means is I don't run to my neighbor's church and try to steal all their congregants. They have their own shepherd. And so those that hear my voice, or hear God's voice through me, to be honest with you, will draw to where they hear God's voice. And so we see this powerful passage about the Good Shepherd. He gathers, he guards, and in the case of Jesus, he was willing to die for the sheep. And so it's a good text to read through. Once again, have an amazing week, and may God bless you until we can meet again. God bless you. Bye-bye.